connect things which look unconnected. There is also often confusion about the two words creativity and innovation. Many times they are used interchangeably, sometimes they are synonymous. So, what is the difference? And a very practical way of understanding what the difference is, probably given here by Theodore Levitt, who says creativity is thinking up new things. That means new thoughts he has classified, not necessarily always. New thinking he has classified as creativity, and doing new things he has classified as innovation. See, a lot of people also think that creativity is a process and innovation is the result. So when you apply creativity, they call it innovation, and that is where I think one of the minor points of understanding or misunderstanding about creativity and innovation, how interchangeable they are and how different they are. The reason I was telling about creativity, that it is inexhaustible and endless, is also substantiated by a quotation here by Maya Angelou, who says, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And this is the paradox, this is the irony in one way. Okay, we will always think કે ભાઈ ऐसा कौन सा रिसोर्स है और એવો કયો રિસોર્સ છે કે જે જેટલું વધારે વાપરીએ એટલું વધારે મળે તમને. I think there are two areas, both of which have driven the human progress. One is knowledge and the other is creativity. So creativity is endless and limitless, as I said, and we should not be afraid to use it कि खत्म हो जाएगा, exhaust हो जाएगा. It's endless, and therefore the more you use, the better equipped you are, the better trained you are, the better you become at using creativity. So how powerful is creativity? We said about creativity, we said about the need for creativity, but what about the power of creativity? How is it different from so many of the other resources that we have seen up to now? So we take a look at that, and a very nice quotation by Bernard Shaw, who gives the difference between what is a product and what is creativity, the process or the idea of creativity. And I will just read the quotation in full so that you get a feel of it. He compares this and says, if you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange them, you and I will still have one apple each. That means after the exchange, you will have one apple and I will have one apple. We have exchanged the apples. Both of us had one apple and we end up with one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange them, both of us will have two ideas. And this is the crux of the power of creativity. Creativity is a resource that can be shared simultaneously. Just as Alvin Toffler, I think you should read Alvin Toffler, a great writer who gives you a glimpse of the contemporary and futuristic world. What are the trends happening? What are the changes happening in the world? He is called a futurologist, not a palmist, not an astrologer, but a futurologist. And this is what he has been saying, that knowledge is the one resource which can be shared simultaneously. Unless all the previous resources that were available to us, whether it was money or whether it was muscle power, they could not be shared simultaneously. But knowledge is something that can be shared simultaneously. And here is another case as part of knowledge also, which is creativity. That you can share creativity simultaneously. And that is the secret of its power that is there. That the more you use, the more you spread, more people can simultaneously use it and make a contribution. So we are talking about ideas, and that is what Bernard Shaw also said, that is the exchange of ideas. And we can see that ideas have had a major impact on the lives of human beings. And H.G. Wells, a very well-known science fiction writer, he says human history is, in essence, a history of ideas. So we try to understand also, how is an idea different from the other areas that we normally come across. This is an example that the sun rising is an observation. When you see the sun rising of the sun is an observation by us. But the concept, the idea of the earth rotating, that it is the earth rotating, which is why you see the sun rising, is an idea. All of you are aware of the story of Newton, how he was sitting under the tree and an apple fell on his head, and that is how he discovered or started thinking about the law of gravity. I think a law which has given you a lot of troubles many times. The falling of the apple is an observation. It was an observation. But the idea of gravity is what is the power. Listening to sounds is an experience. Finding music in it is an idea. Also, just some of the interesting innovations of all time which have made an impact and brought about dramatic changes. Weapons, that has changed the course of human history and development, that is there. These are only some, please understand. Mathematics and the number zero. I think mathematics has probably caused a lot of misery to many of us. I am sure there are many of you who hate mathematics. And the number zero, which was a matter of pride for India, that zero was invented by Aryabhatta, and that's one of the greatest inventions which has revolutionized the entire mathematical understanding that is there. Then the money that was there, how money has completely changed the way the world is operating, and the activities of mankind, and the communications and the interdependence that is there. Printing, which brought knowledge and books in a large scale to the people. It was a truly revolutionary movement, and it was, as we know, it was after the printing press was invented by Gutenberg in Germany in the 15th century that this revolution took place. And the ones that you are now experiencing, the greatest revolution probably of all times, which is the internet. I am sure all of you are there in the internet in various forms, whether it's the Facebook or in any other way, and all of you are doing surfing, and all of you are utilizing it for emails. So it's one of the important things of life that is there. And democracy, and you can see the power of democracy that is there, whether it was India's freedom movement or the American Revolution that took place, or currently what happened in Egypt, and which is spreading in other areas of Middle East, and what happened to Russia also, the USSR. How democracy overtook all these things, and how it is very much to the hearts of human beings that is there. And all this happened because human beings want continuous change and value, differentiation and value, and they want to have it. So these are changes that have occurred which have completely dominated our lives, and these are all ideas basically. Even democracy is an idea, and they have driven the world. And man has always explored. He has always been hungry for something more. And again we go to Bernard Shaw, who I think probably explains the nature of man, his curiosity, and what drives him to continuously innovate. Why creativity is a natural phenomenon, is part of the nature of man. And this is what, he says, that this is what drives man, that you see things as they are and ask why, which is the curiosity part. I dream of things that are not and ask why not, which is what drives the creativity. So one drives the knowledge and the other drives the creativity. So we saw that what different people think about creativity. So we understood, okay, creativity is these things, it's ideas, and it is something different. But we also probably are now, for us to be able to claim creativity, to feel that it is within our reach, it is relevant to us, it is valid for us, or it is something which I can touch, feel, or it can become part of my life. If we look only at the artistic things, I think many of us will never be able to claim creativity. We will never be able to come into that zone at all, because art is a very special talent that is there. See, so what do we do? What do people who do not have so much of art, or who do not want to take art as a profession, what will they do? How will they come into the zone or area of creativity? So the first thing we need to do is we need to redefine creativity. What is creativity? And there we need to understand that it is not necessary to be artistic to be creative. And I think once we understand and accept this, a big burden is lifted from our mind. Because suddenly it is not necessary to be artistic to be creative, and therefore we also can be creative. These thoughts get seeded into our mind. And if something is possible, if something is feasible, only then we try. And that is what we need to redefine creativity for this purpose. Now, is this something which is just a statement, or can it be substantiated? Can we bring some sort of examples to illustrate non-artistic creativity? Zero is an excellent example of non-artistic creativity. Zero, as we said, invented in India by Aryabhatta. Zero is completely creative. It's an innovative thing that is there. But is zero artistic in the way we understand art? The answer is no. Credit card, which has I think become very dominant now even in an economy like India. The credit card, is it a creative idea? Is it innovative or not? The answer will be yes. The credit card was an innovation. It was a creative idea. So, is the credit card creative? Again, the answer will be no. As we understand art, the credit card is not artistic. Similarly, with things like language, things like barcodes, which are there, which are again very innovative and creative. The internet itself, the use of email. Email, the first idea to make it free, for example, in Hotmail, Samir Bhatia. Amazing innovation. There is no art involved in that. And yet, these are all examples of creativity and innovation. Social networking, for example. That's also another example of innovation and creativity. And then things like brainstorming and lateral thinking. Now, these are all examples. These are only a few examples of hundreds and thousands of them, where every day in and day out, from minor to major areas, creativity is happening all the time, innovation is happening all the time, and many of them are non-artistic creativity or innovation. So a lot of it is happening which is non-artistic, and therefore we have to start understanding that creativity can be non-artistic also. And the moment we do that, suddenly it comes within our reach. We may not all be artistic, but we are all creative, and we can be creative, and we should be. So we are trying to understand why creativity, and we said what is creativity, and now we have redefined creativity. And the moment we redefine creativity, suddenly it comes within our reach, and therefore we can try it. But then the question comes that, okay, you have told me why to be creative, you have told me what is creativity, but how do I become creative? What should I do? What should I attempt? What should I try to become more creative? Now there are some ways creativity, please remember, it is a practicing field. It has to be continuously practiced. But there are some paths, some routes and some exercises that we can do, or some thinking we can do to speed up or enable or empower the process of creativity. The first thing we try to do is to ask different questions. The questions themselves are different, and because the questions are different, they lead to innovation or to creative thinking. Like, one would never think what is the opposite of yellow, see, and then some people will give some color like orange or black or red or blue, and then suddenly somebody will come out by reversing the spelling of yellow. So they would call it Wally, WOLLEY. So that's a different way of thinking, and that different thought or idea has come up only because the question was different. So to speed up or enable or empower the creative process, one is that we ask questions which are different, and because these questions are different, they trigger innovation and creativity. So all the time we are not only to ask and answer normal and general questions, but we are also to ask different questions, so that those different answers that we generate can become creative and innovative solutions. Like we talk about what is the taste of anger, what is the smell of truth, what is the touch feel of friendship. Now these we may feel, are they necessary questions at all? What relevance does it have? What meaning does it have? But remember, like in maths and other areas where we keep on practicing sums to understand the concept better and to apply it better, in creativity also we will have to continuously do exercises which develop our creative thinking and our creative skills, and this is one of the ways we can do it. Then other things, for example, what is your square root? We know the square root of numbers. We know the square root of 2. We know the square root of 5. We know the square root of 4. We know the square root of 16. But then what is your square root or my square root? And we think that can there be an answer for this which is not ridiculous? And you'll be surprised how people come out with different ways of thinking. Like some of the people I have talked to whom I have given this exercise, they give the square root of their age and say that is my square root. Some give the square root of their weight or height and say that is my square root. An interesting answer somebody gave me was that my square root is 1. So I said why? Because he said I am 1, so my square root is 1. So mathematically it is true and symbolically also is true. So interesting examples come up. So questions are different first in creativity. The second is that in creativity, unlike logical thinking and normal procedures, we do not seek one answer. Creativity does not look for one answer at all. Creativity focuses on having multiple options, and that is what is called divergent thinking. So divergent thinking is a process, an integral process of thinking, where we try to think of multiple things, multiple options. So we do not seek one answer, we seek multiple options, and that is where creativity is different. Normal thinking, logical thinking is what is called convergent thinking. That everything, all information and everything, you mold it towards getting one answer, logical and reasoning answer. But in creativity, it's the other way around, it's the opposite. You have something and then you try to see in how many ways you can look at that, in how many ways you can solve that, and therefore you look for multiple options. So that is how it is different from the normal thinking and process that is there. The third area where we try to understand and practice creativity is that it reads between the lines. That means to look at the